We only have less than 90 days to 2025, and if you want to become fluent in English before 2025, you are going to have to do more than just studying English. Let's find out some of the things that you should know and some of the things that you can do and get you on this road to English fluency before 2025. I'm Jay. I am an English student, and my goal as an English learner is to help other learners around the world learn English and be able to speak in English fluently and confidently. And that's why I'm telling you that as an English learner, to be fluent in English, you are gonna have to do more than just studying English. Whether studying English by books, by videos, or even by apps. Yes, you're studying English, but you need to know and do certain things in addition to studying. These are very small things, and once you know them, it's gonna change the way you study and help you become a lot more fluent in English. So in this video, I am gonna share with you 6 things that you need to know and do, and once you know them and once you do them, these things are really gonna help you become more fluent as you study English. So let's get started. The first thing you need to know when you're studying English is you need to know why you're studying English. You need to have a reason why you're studying English. Know your why. When you're reading and listening to English, do you know why you're doing it? Maybe you just turn on an English video and you start listening. And you're like, my English teacher said that if you want to be fluent in English, you need to listen to English, which is a good advice, but why are you listening to this particular video? Are you listening to learn a vocabulary on a topic? Are you listening to improve your pronunciation? Are you listening to understand general meaning of words? Or are you just listening passively to absorb the language? There are different reasons for practicing English skills, and you need to know what your goal is. Why are you listening, reading, and studying English? Why are you listening to this particular video? Why are you reading this particular book? Why are you studying English? Don't just study, don't just listen, don't just read. You need to know why. Why are you practicing speaking? Are you doing it to practice fluency, or are you doing it to practice accuracy? When you're doing it just for fluency, then you can make mistakes and correct on them. But when you're practicing your speaking skills for accuracy, then you cannot make mistakes. You can't make mistakes. You have to ensure that you are speaking accurately. So when you're studying English, it's very important to know why you are doing it. The next thing I needed to know when studying English is that learning English is a process. And what I mean by this is that learning English takes time. It's gonna take you some time to process the language. If you learn a new phrase today, it's gonna take you time to use the phrase correctly in a sentence. And this is because when you learn an English word or an English phrase, it goes straight to your head and it's gonna stay there for a while. It will be influenced by your reading, your speaking, your studying, and over time it settles and you can use it better. So learn new words, practice them, but review, come back to them. Give the language the time to settle. Don't expect to be perfect the first day. It's just like any other skill. Let's say, for example, cooking skill. You don't expect to be perfect and cook an exquisite meal on the first day. It's gonna take time for you to get there, but the more you do it, the more you continue cooking, the more you enhance your skills. And that also applies to learning English. It's gonna take you time. It is a process, so give yourself time to learn and let the language settle. Allow the language to settle. The third thing you should do is expose yourself to more English. Maybe you're not exposed to English enough. You're not listening to it enough. You're not reading it enough. And I know most learners, they don't listen to English enough. They don't read English enough. Very few learners actually read and listen to English enough. Think about your native language from the moment you're born to right now. It took you some time, and the more you are exposed when you're a little child, the more you're exposed to your native language, the more your parents or the people around you were talking to you in the language. When you were born, you didn't know the language, but the older you grew, the more exposed you are to your native language, the more you absorbed the language, and it took time for you to know everything in your language. And that applies to English. You need to expose yourself to English, whether it's English music, whether it's English podcasts, whether it's English movies, whether it's English anything. Just expose yourself to English. If you are capable of moving to an English speaking country, then why not do that? You'll get to learn the language faster because you're exposed to the language. It's around you, it's all over the place, so it's really gonna be hard to resist it. All you have to do is expose yourself to enough English. The fourth thing you need to do is be active and curious. When you read and listen to English, be active, be curious. Don't just read or listen. When you're reading, notice the grammar. Oh, she's married to a doctor. She is interested in history. He is suffering from a certain disease. She died of this disease. Notice the tone, notice the word stress, notice the intonation, notice the patterns. You're not only passively listening or reading English, you are actively absorbing the language. You are actively reading, listening, and absorbing the language. You can also repeat some interesting phrases that you listen to or that you read. For instance, when you're watching a movie and someone says, "Get out," or "Get out," notice why they're using a certain tone when they're talking. "Get out of my house." "Get out of my house." Anga, "Get out of my house." Notice the different tones used when the language is being spoken. This is one of the most powerful ways to learn English. The fifth thing that I want you to do is make it fun. Make learning English fun. And once again, I'd like to remind you that becoming fluent in English is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If you're not enjoying the process, you're likely to give up. So why don't you make your learning process fun? Join English learning apps where they maybe have some fun games to play. You can also play word games in English where you describe something and someone names it. You can also play English board games like the Scrabble board game where you make words using letters. You can also participate in online English challenges. Just make your learning process fun. If you do that, you are probably gonna make it to fluency. It's really difficult to get bored doing something that you really enjoy. The last thing I want you to do is to create a habit, whether it's a listening habit, a speaking habit, a writing habit, a reading habit. Create an English habit. And what I mean by a habit is something you do every single day at the same time in the same place. You can choose a day, a place, and a skill that you will be practicing every single day. Like for instance, I am an English learner and I have a listening habit. Every single day when I wake up or when I'm doing the dishes, I listen to a podcast. Doing dishes is something that I do every single day. So I just decided, what if I start a listening habit on doing dishes? Every time I'm washing dishes, I listen to an English podcast. You can also create a habit, and if you are wondering how to do it, you can just tack this new habit on a habit that you're already doing. For instance, let's say cleaning your house, or maybe brushing your teeth. You can listen to English while you're brushing your teeth, or maybe you're cooking. Cooking is something that we do every single day. So why don't you just incorporate a listening habit when you are doing your cooking? Create a habit of listening, speaking, or reading English. Let me know which habit you are going to create. Is it a listening habit? Is it a reading habit? Is it a speaking habit? Or is it a writing habit? Let me know in the comment section. Did you know that in order to ease your journey to fluency, you need to know your English level? If you do not know your English level, don't worry, because I have a video right here. Make sure you check it out. With that being said, let's catch up in my next video. Bye bye.